Welcome to GRUNG TV, the entertainment hub for news, views, reviews, and gossip. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and turn on your notification bell.
Welcome back to GRUNG TV. The two men who were reportedly injured during a drive-by shooting on Mountain View Avenue in Kingston this morning were reportedly heading home to Nannyville when they were pounced upon by gunmen. Details are sketchy, but unconfirmed reports reaching our news source are that both men were coming from a hardware store when a Toyota Probox in which they were traveling was shot up by gunmen. One of the men has reportedly died while the other was admitted to hospital, sources said. The Nannyville community is adjacent to the National Stadium on Mountain View Avenue. A robber made off with $950,000 in cash, but not before he was disarmed of a Glock pistol during a robbery in New Kingston yesterday. According to police reports, about 2:07 p.m., the complainant was standing on the sidewalk when he was approached by a gunman who robbed him of cash amounting to $950,000. A struggle reportedly ensued between the robber and the complainant, during which the robber was disarmed before running off with the cash. The police were summoned and the firearm handed over. A man who is accused of stoning and robbing another has been arrested and charged by the police for the incident which happened at Darlington District in Portland on Tuesday, March 16. Charged with robbery with aggravation and assault occasioning grievous bodily harm is 55-year-old Patrick McIntosh, a taxi operator of Market Road, St. Thomas. The police said that about 5:30 p.m., McIntosh visited the complainant's house and hurled stones and bricks, hitting the complainant. McIntosh reportedly then stole two of the complainant's cellular phones and approximately $100,000. The police said McIntosh was arrested and subsequently charged following an interview. A teenager has been charged with shooting with intent, murder, and illegal possession of firearm after he reportedly opened fire on a group at a business establishment on Wednesday, February 17th. Dead is 38-year-old Lamarca Brown, otherwise called Lamarck, of James Street, Kingston. The police said that about 3:30 p.m., Brown was among a group sitting at a business establishment when they were approached by the teen, who opened gunfire, hitting Brown and two others several times. The police said that the injured were taken to hospital where they were admitted. However, Brown succumbed to his wounds on Friday, February 19. The police said the teen was arrested on Tuesday, March 23rd. Dancehall artist Ryan McFarlane, more popularly known as Ritical, was today offered $1 million bail when he appeared in the gun court on illegal possession of firearm and ammunition charges. As part of his bail, the 25-year-old entertainer was ordered to report to the Bull Bay police station on Wednesdays and Saturdays and abide by a 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. curfew order. He is also to surrender his travel documents, and the court also imposed a stop order at all ports. He is to go on trial on April 28. The police had reported on January 28. Cops were on patrol in 8 Mile Bull Bay, St. Andrew, when McFarlane was reportedly seen acting in a suspicious manner. Police reportedly questioned the artist, and following a search of his car, a Taurus .830 pistol with 12 rounds of ammunition were found. Ritical reportedly told the police that the weapon was a prop for a music video. He was, however, taken into custody and later charged. The police have arrested and charged two men following separate incidents in St. Catherine between November 2020 and March 2021. The police said 2 firearms and 9 9mm cartridges were seized during the incidents. The men has been identified as 21-year-old Janine Simmons, otherwise called Punky of Huntspen, Clarendon, and 30-year-old Dwayne Officer at Palmer of Washington Drive, Windsor Heights, Central Village, St. Catherine. According to the police, Simmons has been charged with 2 counts of housebreaking and larceny following separate incidents in the parish. The police said that about 8 a.m. on Wednesday, November 4th, 2020, a group of men, including Simmons, visited New Harbour Village 3, Whole Harbour in the parish, and broke into 2 premises that were securely locked. Several items, including a black Samsung S7 cellular phone, were reportedly stolen. The police said Simmons was charged after he was apprehended on Tuesday, March 9, and the cellular phone found in his possession. Meanwhile, officer was charged with illegal possession of firearm and illegal possession of ammunition following a joint police-military operation in Windsor Heights, Central Village in St. Catherine on Sunday, March 21st. Official reports are that about 10:25 a.m., officer was with 2 other men who, upon seeing the lawmen, ran, leaving him. The police said he was searched and a 6-Sauger pistol with a magazine containing 4 9mm cartridges was found on him. Both men are to appear in court at a later date. High-profile St. James gangster Omar Troy Johnson, who pleaded guilty to murder, was today slapped with a 15-year prison sentence. Sentencing was handed down in the St. James Circuit Court. Johnson will have to serve 14 years before being eligible for parole. The 24-year-old, who is from Bucktow Lane in Salt Spring and who is a reputed top-tier member of the much-feared G-City gang, was convicted on March 10th for the shooting death of Sable Malcolm. Malcolm was brutally murdered before her grandchildren at their Cornwall Court home, also in St. James, on February 15, 2020. This is a good day for the law-abiding citizen of St. James and the police, said the police commander of St. James, Superintendent Vernon Ellis. We just got the news out of Kingston that Tommy Lee Sparta dancehall artist Leroy Russell was just sent to prison for illegal possession of firearm, and now we have the G-City gangster going off for a very long time. We want the other violent producer in St. James to realize that we are coming at them with all the tools in our toolbox, and when they are caught, and we know they will be caught, that they stand to spend many years behind bars, Ellis said. It was reported that about 2:45 a.m. on the day in question, Johnson went to Malcolm's house, armed with a handgun, and gained entry to the premises by breaking through a rear section of the property. He first tried to enter the section of the house where the family occupied, but it was securely locked up. After his demands for the family to open the door was refused, Johnson used a piece of steel to break the glass on the door and began climbing through. It was then that Malcolm confronted him and a struggle ensued. During the tussle, the gun went off and the bullet hit Johnson in his arm. He subsequently overpowered Malcolm and shot her in the head at close range and then fled the scene. Malcolm was rushed to the Cornwall Regional Hospital, where she was pronounced dead. Later that day, Johnson showed up at the hospital and was not able to properly explain the circumstances under which he was shot. The police were alerted and cops subsequently took him to his house, where his bloody clothes from the crime scene was found. DNA was taken from his bloody clothes and a forensic swab from gunpowder residue was carried out by a scene of crime unit, Ellis said. Blood samples and latent prints that were taken from the location of the murder matched that which was found on the scene. After the forensic results were brought to Johnson's attention, he decided to cooperate with investigators and admitted to committing the gruesome murder. The scientific evidence and the shrewdness of the detectives left him no other choice but to become a proactive cooperator, Ellis said. I hope the other gangsters will realize that while they may be able to intimidate witnesses, they cannot intimidate DNA. The corporate area makeup and graphic artist, currently in prison for the murder of fashion designer Dexter Pottinger, was today sentenced to 14 years and 10 months for the 2016 killing of 20-year-old Alexa B. Pat. Romaria Brown, who had pleaded guilty to the lesser charge of manslaughter, was sentenced by Justice Christina Brown Beckford in the Home Circuit Court. The sentence will run at the same time as the 12-year prison term that he is currently serving for Pottinger's death. Dexter Pottinger's killer sentenced to 12-year imprisonment. The sentence has handed down in May 2019 after he pleaded guilty to manslaughter. According to the facts outlined in the case, Brown and Beepat were engaged into intercourse when an argument developed and he squeezed her throat and kicked her off the bed. Brown, 24, fled the scene following the incident but was picked up by security camera footage. Also, phone records showed that he was the last person to speak to Beepat. Brown was later found with Beepat's phone and a laptop belonging to her boyfriend. Brown was subsequently charged with murder and simple larceny. However, according to Brown, he had no intention to kill her. He had previously pleaded not guilty to killing the young woman, but in January indicated through his attorney Anthony Williams to the court that he wanted to enter a plea of guilty to manslaughter instead. As a result, the Crown indicated that it was willing to accept a plea on lesser charge since there was no intent. It offered no evidence on simple larceny charge. Brown had been out on bail for the murder of Beepat when he stabbed Pottinger to death in 2017 after claiming that the designer made sexual advances towards him. Pottinger's body was found with 20 stab wounds at his home in Kingston.